Now, I was pretty disturbed to see headlines the other day saying that 1 in 3 Australian men has reported committing domestic violence as part of this world research that's been compiled from the Australian Institute of Family Studies. It's a government body. But if you dig a little deeper into this report, it notes that emotional type abuse was the most common form of intimate partner violence used. Now, that concerned me. It's unacceptable, of course, emotional abuse, as any form of abuse is, and it's distressing. But to equate emotional abuse with violence surely turns the term on its head. For more, I'm joined by child and adolescent psychologist Clare Rowe. Do you get what I'm saying now? I mean, I just saw this report. The headline said 1/3 of blokes involved in domestic violence, and that's a frightening number. But it turns out a tiny fraction of those are involved in physical violence. They're including abuse or humiliation. Now, that's not good. That's bad. But surely we've got to distinguish between physical violence and intellectual or emotional abuse.
Yeah, well, increasingly we don't now. So this report, longitudinal study, nearly over 10 years, 16,000 men. And yes, a huge proportion of them admitted to engaging in acts that would be considered domestic violence. I just want to say there are two things that came out of that report I think are actually quite good. And one is a correlation between poor mental health for men and their admission to engaging in violent behaviours. And two, a correlation between these men and a lack of a paternal affection or paternal father figure in their life. And I think that just speaks to the role of fathers. So I just wanted to note that. But
we'll come back to those if there's time. But I mean, presumably, if there's emotional abuse, that might be a precursor to physical abuse. So we need to be mindful of it. But I'm just wondering, if we call that domestic violence, aren't we polluting the debate a bit?
Yeah, so there has been this growing inflation or broadening of our definition of violence, and that's both at a criminal level and also the Family Law Act. So to give you an example, prior to 2011 in the Family Law Act, the definition of violence, quite concise and clear, 51 words. It's now 533 words,
Lord.
all right? It is very nuanced, it is very elaborate, it is layered. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to encapsulate victims who over, say, a 10-year marriage have had financial control, they've been controlled by their whereabouts and their communication with others, but it also will include things like belittling, insults and criticism. Now, I've criticised a partner before, Chris. I hate to admit it. I've thrown a few insults.
I've been criticised.
Oh, there you go. Probably this morning. So here we go. So this is the difference. We have a very clear line when it is physical violence to say any form is wrong. Okay, it is very clear. When it is emotional abuse, and we are including that now in legislation and law acts, where is the line? And so, yes, I absolutely take your point. And when it comes to things like the family law courts, the allegations, I mean, every matter now has allegations of coercive control and violence.
Because we want to keep talking about it, keep working on this, because it's a real problem. And so we just want to make sure people are talking within the same parameters, I suppose, about the same things. Now, we haven't got a lot of time, but I want to get you back onto this paternal figure again, because we all know that, especially with disrupted families for all sorts of reasons, fathers might not be the commodity they used to be, and that leads to other problems you're suggesting.
Oh, absolutely. The research is absolutely unequivocal about the role that fathers play in children's lives. Fathers or father figures, to have a paternal role, it cannot be substituted in any other way, and it has lifelong effects for kids developmentally, socially, and for their mental health. Very important.
Very good, Clare. Thanks for joining us again. And we didn't criticise each other at all. Clare Rowe there, our resident child and adolescent psychologist.